Okay, hey guys, how's it going? It's Chris here, and welcome to an Airsoft scope cam tutorial video. I'm going to kind of wing it. I have no script. I'm going to do this live, and I just wanted to show you guys how to do, if I can find it, not that effect. That's a standard scope cam. I'll show you that too. It's very basic, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do this scope cam effect that I had in the last video, and then if you guys like that type of effect, then I can continue to do it. I have the presets already made, so it's not that difficult. It doesn't take that much extra effort. All you gotta do is make the presets, and then you're good to go. But if you guys prefer for me to have just the full screen zoom, then I can totally do that as well. So now that we have our clip all ready to be zoomed into the scope cam and everything, we're gonna go ahead and add a couple of video track layers. I'm going to go ahead and reduce the size of the preview for a little bit. Now we have these two files. So this is the point right here. This sound wave is where I take a shot. Right there, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to make this the visible layer. This is the scope cam. And I'm going to cut that so I know where I am. And I'm going to go into my Airsoft folder. I'm going to get myself some on-screen elements and grab the scope. And grab this scope overlay. Now, obviously, that right there looks a little bit dumb and janky, so what we're going to do is, well, first off, before we add that element in, my mistake, we're going to take the scope cam. It's not entirely centered to the gun when it shoots for a myriad of reasons. They're always a little bit off center. We're going to match output aspect ratio, which is going to fill the screen to the 1920 by 1080 dimensions that the video is being exported in, and then we're going to look and see where the BB goes in relation to the center of the crosshair. That was a little bit fast right there, but if we're going to play it frame by frame, you see a little bit of shake right there in the scope cam when it shoots. You're seeing that the BB is flying out in this direction. It has a little bit of hop, so the impact point is right there. That means that the scope cam is off by that much, so we're going to go ahead and pan crop this again. And we are going to find the point of the BB is right about there. So we're going to slide that over until it meets the crosshair point right there. Roughly right there. Now when we go to shoot, it's a bit more centered to where we are. As you can see, when I shoot, the BB is following the trajectory of the crosshair. Bam. So that's a standard crosshair tutorial. That's how you do that. But if you want to do the corner cam overlay like I have here, so you can still see what's going on in the head cam, but also get the important details of the zoom cam, it's a little bit more complicated than that, and I will show you right now. So, of course, right here, this is the point in which we have the shot. So I'm going to pull this back a little bit. That way you can see the scope kind of built up to it. We're going to go ahead and video event pan crop the scope cam footage. And we're going to scale that out. We're going to keep zooming out, and we're going to bring it to about the size we want. Remember, we're not using all of this element. We need to see just what's important in the center. We're going to drag this up to the corner of the screen where it's going to be located. This might be a little bit small. I'm going to make that bigger right there. So we want basically all of this element right here in the center to be visible. So keep that in mind while you edit, and so that way you don't, crop too small. Then we're going to take our scope overlay, and we are going to find that same point, and we're going to measure that up to the center of the shot again, while keeping aspect ratio in mind. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to find our center point, like I said. Now we're going to go ahead and see what that looks like. It's pretty centered right there to what we need to see. Let me just make a couple of small adjustments right there. So this is our focal point that we're using as reference. Now what we're going to do is we're going to insert a new edit element. We're going to put in cookie cutter. It's a nice little tool that I found. Now essentially what this does is you have your center point in the video, if I can find it. It's this little crosshair right here. It might be a little hard to see. But you see how I have a circle? This circle right here is cutting out it's cutting away everything except for what's inside the selection. So it makes a nice little ring and deletes everything else. So we can match it up to about the size of the scope, keeping in mind the actual edge of the image. And we're going to feather the border just a little bit to make it look a little bit nicer. Right there. And what we can do for the scope cam, we can add our own little border to get rid of those imperfections. Look at that. Now keep the cookie cutter tool in mind. What I would recommend doing is saving a preset, which I have right here, current zoom, saving a preset so you don't have to do that edit or copy paste every single time you do a video. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go do the same video pan crop right here, and while we're in here for the scope cam, we're going to add the cookie cutter as well. We're going to find our center point, we're going to line it up to the center of the crosshair, we're going to shrink that down, and boom, everything outside the scope cam has been deleted. And now what we're left with is what we need to see as a scope cam right there. So now we have our scope cam element on screen, obviously just kind of placed haphazardly, and we have our head cam element on screen. I know it's not realistic to what you would be seeing in this scenario, but I do think it looks really cool and gives you a bigger, broader view of the action. Now, I do want to say that this was not my idea for the scope cam element. I did see an Instagram post somewhere. If I can find it, I'll show you. Now, actually, in here, this is my Instagram saved folder. I have memes and cute rat videos. But basically, I found this video of Polish Airsoft girl, and she did something just like that I saw. Like that, you see? So essentially what she did here was it looks like she has her head cam scoped around the edge, and then she has the center red dot sight. So it looks like this is basically what you would be seeing without the magnification with the red dot, but as you can see, the zooms are completely different. Now, she could have just used her zoom cam footage and zoomed it in further for the scope cam, because that looks really nice. There's like a nice rounded distortion in it. There's a lot of editing that looks like it goes into that multiple layers, but it looks really, really nice. And that inspired me to do something very similar, not go into my OBS to show you my recording. That inspired me to do something similar like this with the scope cam. So that's kind of where I got the idea from, and this is just a tutorial on how to do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see any more airsoft editing videos, I'd be down to maybe even stream some edits or just do an editing video for you guys. But other than that, yeah, this is basically what the final result looks like, essentially. It looks kind of like that. I mean, obviously, a lot of factors go into it, wherever you place the cameras and such, but, you know, do that to your own liking. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video. Later.